Hey guys, all Jack No Trades here. It is day 14 of fixing the RX7. Today we are going to be pulling out the radiator. Last time I was underneath the car, I saw that there was some antifreeze leaking from the bottom, so I just want to pull it out, see if it needs to be fixed or if we need to replace the entire radiator. So first thing we want to do, seems like we disconnect this hose going from the radiator cap into here. And then the sensor, which is actually broken right now, we gotta get a new one, but we gotta take this out as well. Well, actually, I don't think you actually need to take it out. Well, actually, no, yeah, you do. You have to disconnect this, run a wire down here. But yeah, just take this out, and I think we take out these 10 mil bolts over here, get this cover off, and then you can just see the actual radiator. So to disconnect the sensor, there is this thing you just pull out from the connector, and this you just unscrew with a wrench. What I'm gonna do to disconnect this hose, I'm gonna use some pliers, this one right here, as well as some locking pliers or vice grips as they're known. Clamp right here, pinch down here, pull it out, and pull the entire thing out. The reason why I'm using vice grips is I'm not sure if there's still fluid that's gonna leak everywhere. So I'm just gonna clamp it down, pinch here, pull out the entire thing. So the sensor is off. Again, I just disconnected this by pulling it out from this connector right here. And this cap, I just unscrewed it. I was looking on eBay, you can buy a new one of these for around $30 to $50, so it's not bad. Next up, we are going to be tackling this hose. Got it clamped here. Next, I'm gonna use some pliers, pinch down, pull out, pull the entire thing out. Take a look at that. This is where the clamp was. I guess that's the original hose right there. A lot of residue built up over the years. Anyway, using these pliers, pinch here, pull out. I got it off. This had a bit of an angle over here, so just make sure, take account for that. Got this off. It's connected to that over there, and should be good. Next up, I'm going to get this tube out of these clamps over here, and then start unscrewing these bolts. Okay. We got the hose disconnected. There's actually no liquid that's coming out. Got it out of these clamps over here, and I kind of messed up. Made a bit of a, what do you call it? Damage over here. I think I can replace the hose, find something simple. Maybe at O'Reilly's or just online. It's about time anyway. These hoses are about, what, 40 years old now? But next up, using my 10 mil, get these bolts out here. Okay. Something to keep in mind, this bolt here is the clamps for the connector that we just disconnected. Got all the 10 mil bolts off. There were some clamps over here that I also just took out, threw it with rest of the 10 mils. This thing, the cover, seems to come off real easily, just like that. There we go. Got the radiator right there. I guess this is the going into the intake, the air filter. I guess we could take this off as well, just to get more room to work with. Anyway, I'll put this to the side. And let's see. Yeah, these are also 10 mils. Just use some more 10 mils, get this off. I'm guessing it goes in here, take it out, just to see what's happening. One thing I noticed, this one was really easy to unscrew, but this bolt, I think there's a nut behind it. I can't really see it, but I can feel it. So I just use some pliers, clamp it down, and then just keep unscrewing. There you go. Got a nut there. I'm starting to wonder whether or not there's a nut over there that I just didn't feel, but I guess we'll find out later. For this piece right here, what I did is just rotate it this way first, and then just pull it out, just like that. I think this is the radiator. I'm not sure what this is. This could be the oil cooler, or maybe the thing down there is the oil cooler. I looked at the Haynes manual. This thing right here appears to be the air conditioning matrix. I don't want to remove it, since I don't want to remove anything that I don't need to. I'm gonna switch strategies. I'm gonna jack up the car from underneath. There is a cover under here. I'll show you how to remove it. This is the engine undercover, and we have some 10 mils right here using our ratchet. And like some right here, and on the other side. I'll take this off. Here we are. We got rid of all the screws, at least I can see, bolts. And I just gotta get this out. I'm not quite sure how to remove it yet. This is the engine undercover. I got it out by, imagine this is on top and this is the front of the car. I went in and there's this pull tab, just kind of yank it out. Now that you got the underside off, I'll show you what my plan of attack is. This is the radiator over here. This is the oil cooler. The radiator, if you can tell, there's a lot of like residue here. See this? Coolant, antifreeze. What I'm trying to do is to drain this. I think it's this hose right here. I don't think it's a small one. I'm pretty sure it's this big one. To unscrew it, or not to unscrew it, to disassemble it, there is this, I think it might be a screw. But anyway, I'm gonna use a wrench, unscrew it, try to get this hose off, and then just have a bucket here or just a pan, get all the fluid out, and then we'll go from there. I tried using a screwdriver and pliers. I found it best to use, again, a 10 mil ratchet socket, stick it in, unscrew it. Now that it's unscrewed, I got this bad boy here, flat screwdriver. Just gonna stick it in, give it a little wedge, wiggle it in and out, push the entire thing out, and I got this pan here to catch all the liquid. Wish me luck. Here we got the antifreeze drain going on. I stuck it in, and then it was a sudden rush of antifreeze coming out. Some of it got on my face, but thankfully I'm wearing my safety glasses, so it's not gonna get into my eyes. I could shove it in more, get the entire tube out, and let it rush, but I think I'm okay with just letting it slowly drip out. Maybe shoving it, screwdriver in a bit more. Just see how much more we can get. And then just let it slowly drain out. Yeah, all right. All right, so drain pan's here. I'm gonna dump this into here. Fortunately, I only have one, so in the meantime, I'll be using this small little plastic bin right here. But yeah, this is a mix of like oil and antifreeze and a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna put it in here, gonna put it back, and continue draining. Look at this. You guys remember in middle school when all the kids put a bunch of food, spit, whatever, into a drink and then have someone drink it? Imagine drinking this. Hospital trip right there. Anyway, I'll put this pan back in there, put the screwdriver back in, try to drain out the rest of the antifreeze. Okay, I think it's done draining the coolant. Now to get out the hose, what I've been doing is using the screwdriver, using two hands, and then just pushing it up on all sides like this. Just using the screwdriver, I guess, I'm not sure if it's the blade or the shaft, and then just kind of pushing it up from all ends, or not ends, but from all angles. Hose is disconnected. Radiator here, still dripping some into the pan. I think what's next is I have to disconnect this small hose here from the radiator. I believe it's called the heater hose coming from the engine. I'm pretty sure this might be 10 mil. We'll see, but we'll just get this out the way and go from there. Heater hose is out. This one took a while, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Around like 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes. Same technique I used on this, same as that one. I used a screwdriver, attacked it from all sides. I think the one that made the most impact was actually going from here on the left side here and then pushing it out that way. That made it really go out a lot. Came out some antifreeze there. Luckily, again, I wore my safety glasses, got out the way, drained it. So, what's next after this one? We have one more hose. This one right here. Same thing, I'm pretty sure it's a 10 mil, just get it out the way. For the car, I think I'm just gonna lower it and then figure it out from there. Car's back on the ground. When I got the jack out the way, there's a bunch of coolant that started leaking. Not a bunch actually, just a little bit, but I put the pan back there. Time to get this out the way. Again, I think it's a 10 mil. Just loosen it, pull it out. After that, I think we disconnect the fan, get the shroud out the way. There's like 4 bolts connecting the radiator onto the main frame. After that, we can just pull the entire thing out. Got this loose with the 10 mil, and this one, again, I used a screwdriver, stuck it in, give it a little wedge. And this one, I think you can just kind of wiggle it off. Come on. Okay, there you go. Okay, hose is off. Now, that seems to be one of the bolts. I don't know if that's connecting the shroud or the entire radiator, but just gotta find all the bolts, try to get this thing off. Upon further examination, I think this bolt right here, and on the other side, this bolt is connecting the shroud onto the radiator, blocking access to the fan. 10 mil bolt right here. I couldn't use the ratchet and socket since it wouldn't fit. I think the air filter box is blocking it. So I'm using the 10 mil wrench, going in here, unscrewing it. This bolt's out. It seems like it's only 2 bolts that's connecting everything. So I'm gonna go on the other side, use the socket, ratchet. Should be fairly simple. All right, 10 mil right there. Put this in my little box with a bunch of 10 mils there. So, shroud should be loose now. There might be something on that bottom side that's still connecting it to the radiator. Down here, maybe? Yeah, this thing's definitely connected. I can't see anything else. I'm not sure if it's just this plastic that's here. If it is, I'll just pop it off, see what happens there. Yeah, I'll do that first. I'll get a screwdriver. If you can see right here, there's a little, I'm not sure what it is. What do you call it? A rivet? A plastic rivet that's going in. I'm gonna dig in, pop it out. I got the plastic piece off. I see it. That thing right there, I popped it off. It's this wire that's connected. I'm not actually sure what it does, but the entire shroud is off now. This is the connector that goes onto there, that sensor. Shroud is off. I think next thing to do is disconnect the fan. And then I'm gonna take the shroud and fan out and then try to see what I can do to disconnect the radiator. So, disconnect the fan. There are 4 of these bolts here. And yeah, you just disconnect them. I think they look like 10 millimeters. And some people say you need a vice grip to hold this part down, but we'll see, I'll let you guys know. Once again, the internet is correct. You have to use something to clamp it down. Reason being, when you're using a 10 mil wrench here to unscrew this bolt, the entire pulley will rotate, so you can't actually unscrew it. Now, if you have some vice grips, locking pliers, holding it down here, you move this hand up, this hand down, that's how you get it out. Well, you look at that. This might be the cleanest 10 mil I've seen on this entire project. Not bad for 40 years old. All 4 of the 10 millimeter bolts are out from the fan. It seems like you just push this way and then pull up to get everything out. The fan is really stuck in there despite the bolts being taken out. What I'm trying to do is using this flathead screwdriver, wedging it in there, and then just moving it out on all 4 corners. See if you can get the fan out. Sweet, it worked. There was actually some, so you can see it, some things connecting, I don't even know what you call it, this base metal onto the fan. Now that everything's loose, I'm gonna take the shroud and the fan out. Would you look at that? Fan here, shroud here, radiator here. Just gotta find the 4 bolts connecting the radiator onto the actual mount. After that, pull the entire thing out. After examining it a bit, I think the way to get the radiator out is through this bolt, that bolt, go on this side, this bolt right there, and then let's see if you can see it, that one right there. All you need instead of a 10 millimeter wrench this time is a 12 millimeter wrench. Now, if you guys are having issues getting the bolts out, if they're stuck, if they're rusted, here is what I use. Automatic transmission fluid, acetone, 50-50 mixture, shake it up, use a syringe, put it on the rusted bolts or anything tight. It will eat through like the rust and stuff, and then hopefully you can get it out. Let's get started. This bolt's almost out. This thing, air filter blocking the way, so what I'm thinking is just to get this lid off, see if I can reach it from there. How this works, 4 clips, different sides, kind of pop it off, and just kind of lift. Okay. Oop, don't want to get radiator fluid into the air place. Okay. Now, this should be, let's see if we can get it out. Oh, one more side. Cool. Okay. We got this plastic rivet sort of thing over here. Okay, ended up getting it out with some pliers. What I did was use the pincher or pincers, whatever you call it, grab it from here, pull it out. Now, set this right here. It's lid out the way. Okay. Ooh, I could replace this one these days. See that? That's the bolt we gotta get out. I guess I got an angle I can go from here. Got this out. Time for the one. Can you see it? That one down there. Okay. Remember, all this is in 12 millimeter. Turns out you actually can't even go from back here. I don't know if you can unscrew that. On the other side, there is a bolt down there. You can like barely see it. I can't go from up here. I'm gonna try from underneath the car, see if I can get there. But in the meantime, I will attempt to unscrew these bolts over here. Got out the first bolt over here. I finally discovered that I had one of these extension attachments that really come in handy in these tight spots. So I'll try again on that side, but if you don't have one of these, go ahead and get you one of these. Bolt 1, bolt 2, out. This one on top, also out. Just got one more down there behind this cylinder thing. This thing is blocking my way. I can't get to it. I don't even know what the heck this thing is, but if I can get it out the way, it'll make it a lot easier to get to that bolt. So I'm gonna try. Okay, so I can see a nut there, a nut in the back. It's gonna be hard to get to. All right, guys, I tried around 30 minutes to like an hour. I couldn't get the bolt out from down under, so we gotta get this air filter, air intake thing out the way and try to disassemble this cylinder thing that's blocking the bolt. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 10 mils that I can see. We got them out, and it seems like you can just lift the entire thing up. And that's that cylinder thing we gotta get out. It seems like it's all 10 mils. Let me see. Yep, it's 10 millimeter. Just get it off, and we'll see if we can access the last bolt. Got the first nut out. One more in there. Second nut out. And looking at this cylinder, it seems like, see, can you just take it off? Okay, it seems like it's wrapped around to the other side. Maybe, could be wrong, but either way, we just gotta get it out the way and we can get to the bolt. Ten mils are out. As you can see, I just moved this cylinder behind that screw that's sticking out. Hopefully that gives me enough space to go from underneath again, try to get that bolt or nut out of the way. After taking this apart, move the cylinder back. You can see it's behind the screw over there, and I wedged the 12 millimeter ratchet socket in. Now I think I'm able to actually get it loose. All that's left is to get the bolt unscrewed and then take the radiator out. Here it is, guys. The last 12 millimeter bolt just took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but here it is. Radiator here, all you gotta do is just pull the entire thing out. See right here, these are some like welded in, I guess, some landing spaces, right? You just pull up, move out, and all the way up. And then you should get your radiator. I noticed one more thing we have to disconnect before taking out the radiator. We got a little sensor here. And instead of disconnecting it from the connector, I'm just gonna use 21mm wrench, unscrew it, and then radiator should be out. So here's the bottom connector. Here's the top connector that goes on top. All we gotta do, get those hoses out the way and then just pull it out. And there we have it. 40-year-old radiator, a 40-year-old radiator juice. Look at that. Real delicious. Now check out the inside. This took me around 4 to 5 hours. It's a bit longer than I think most people, but you gotta start somewhere. Anyways, that is all I have for today, guys. Hope you have a good one.